Welcome to uTunnel's MeshConnect configuration tutorial. In this video, we'll guide you through the steps to configure a site, add resources, and set up secure remote access to those resources using MeshConnect. A site could be a corporate network, virtual private cloud, or a VPC, IoT device, or a standalone host to which you want to set up remote access. Log in to your uTunnel organization account. Click on the Create button straight from the Get Started page if you have just set up a fresh uTunnel account. Otherwise, navigate to the MeshConnect tab and click on the Create Network button. You will be asked to provide your billing address if you haven't already added it to your account. You can also skip this step and add the details later. You'll now land on the Create Network screen where you need to provide a few details to create your MeshConnect network. You can enter an easily identifiable name for your network. Choose your preferred subscription plan, standard or basic, based on your requirements. You can view the pricing plans by clicking on the Compare Plans link here. Since we are setting up remote access to a single network here, you can select the number of sites as 1. Choose the number of user licenses based on how many users would require zero trust-based remote access to the resources on the network. Apply a discount code if available. Click on Proceed. Review your network's configuration on the order summary page and click the Proceed button to continue. You will now be asked to enter your payment details if it's your first subscription. Once the MeshConnect network subscription is created, you'll be redirected to the network listing page. Now, click on the network name to proceed with site creation. Click on the Add Site button and key in an easily identifiable name and location for your site into the respective fields. Click on the Create Site button to initiate the site creation process. Now, you need to install and register the MeshConnect agent on the site. For that, you need to run a few commands on the instance where you want to configure the agent. You can find these steps in the guide here. Connect to the instance where the MeshConnect agent is to be deployed. Copy this command from the guide, paste it, and run it to install the MeshConnect agent on the machine. Now the agent has been initialized. You can now register the MeshConnect agent. Copy and paste this command from the guide first. Now, copy and paste the agent registration token from the uTunnel console and run the command. You will be prompted to answer 2 questions. Answer the first question with a yes, if the agent is installed on a host without a public IP address and is placed behind a NAT gateway. In this case, you will need to add a port forwarding rule to UDP port 51820 of the agent installed host on your NAT gateway. You can answer this question with a no if you are registering the agent on a cloud VPS with a public IP address. As for the second question, answer it with a yes, as you need to configure the MeshConnect agent as a router for setting up remote access to the agent-installed network. Here, the MeshConnect agent will efficiently forward traffic from remote user devices to the local network or VPC resources and vice versa. The agent registration is complete. Now, you can go ahead and start the MeshConnect agent. For that, copy and paste this command from the guide and press Enter. Now, the MeshConnect agent has been successfully deployed and registered. Once the agent spins up, IP addresses configured on the agent-installed instance and the networks to which the agent instance belongs will be automatically discovered and will be listed as resources here. You can also manually add resources to the site. A resource could be a host or service which is part of the agent-installed network. Such resources are added to enable secure remote access to those specific resources. To add a resource, click on the Add button. Enter an easily identifiable name for the resource. Select the type of resource address, whether it's an IP address or a network address. Enter the resource address. If the added resource is a service, you could specify the protocol used, either TCP, UDP, or ICMP, and the port. And lastly, you can choose to enable SNAT for this resource if needed. With this enabled, you can choose an IP address from the available list to configure the SNAT. If SNAT is enabled, the outbound traffic to this resource from the agent instance will be masqueraded with the selected IP address. Click on Submit. Similarly, add any other resources on the site and click on Save Changes. So, now the site has been configured. Once you have set up a site on your MeshConnect network, you can set up controlled remote access to resources on your site. For that, you need to set up access policies for this MeshConnect network. Remote users connecting to the network using uTunnel's client application are granted access to specific resources on your network based on these policies. Navigate to the Access Policies section. Click on Create Access Policy. Provide a name for the policy and click on the Add Resources button. Select the site resources that you want to attach to this access policy. Also, if required, you can designate a site as an internet gateway by activating it here. In this case, users attached to this policy will be accessing the internet using the IP address of this site when connected to this MeshConnect network, similar to a VPN gateway. Also, when chosen as an internet gateway, all resources on a site will be automatically selected and attached to the policy. Once this is configured, click on Save. Now, two new tabs will appear on this page: Device Access and DNS Server. In Device Access, you can manage device-related access controls on your network. You can decide if you want to display this MeshConnect network on the uTunnel web console for users attached to this policy. Also, you can restrict MeshConnect access only to selected user devices that are approved by the administrator. With this option enabled, new user devices trying to access the network will be listed here in Device Control in the Access Requests section and will be granted access only once approved by the organization admin or owner. You can also limit access to the MeshConnect network from uTunnel client applications based on the operating system of the client devices. With this enabled, only client devices running on the selected OS platforms will be allowed to connect to the MeshConnect network. Click on the Save button. Now, you can move to the DNS server settings. Here you can designate the MeshConnect agent to serve as the DNS server for users attached to this access policy when connecting to the MeshConnect network. If required, you can enable an external DNS by clicking on this radio button and entering the preferred DNS server IP addresses. Click on Save. Now that you have created an access policy, you can proceed to add users to the MeshConnect network. Navigate to the Users section and click on the Add Users button. Select an access policy from the drop-down menu. All the users available in the organization will be listed here. Choose the users to whom you want to grant network access based on the chosen policy. Click on the Add button once you finish selecting the users. You've successfully added users to your MeshConnect network. These users can now utilize the uTunnel client application to securely connect to the MeshConnect network remotely and access the resources specified in their assigned access policy. Thank you for watching. We hope this tutorial has been helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us at support@utunnel.io.